Live, the news at 6 on NECN.
Right now on NECN, wicked weather. Powerful storms wreak havoc across New England. We're live as cities and towns begin to clean up this morning.
Packing up, former Patriot Aaron Hernandez on the move after a big win in court.
Custodian killed. A hazmat situation at a Massachusetts school turns deadly.
And endorsing Elizabeth, a Massachusetts senator with some powerful support in a possible bid for the White House.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Christy Lee.
And I'm Brian Brunell. More on all those stories just ahead. But first, a quick check of the forecast with our meteorologist Matt Noyes. And nothing like yesterday, I hope, Matt.
Thankfully not. No, at least not the same coverage around the Boston metro area. There will be some storms today, and a few of them may reach severe limits. But when you look at the radar right now, things are quiet. It's a good start, but that's exactly what we're doing yesterday at this time, starting out quiet with the radar. Temperatures are running either side of 70 right now in southern New England and in the 60s for most of northern New England. It is humid, no question about that. You're going to feel that in almost all spots. Now, over the course of late morning to midday, you may bubble up some new showers. Notice that any showers in the North Country dwindle this morning for the morning drive, so no concern in the next couple of hours. But by 11 or 11:30 and then heading into lunchtime, a couple of showers may crop up from central Mass, even into the Metro West area and lift up 495. That, again, would be about 11:30 or so, maybe to noontime, and it wouldn't be a ton of them, and they wouldn't be very strong. Notice by the time we get to evening, as temperatures climb to near 90 today, most of the showers will be found north of the New Hampshire border, particularly from Manchester, New Hampshire, northward. The farther south you go, actually the less the chance for storms becomes later in the day. So if you plot out the chance for rain, let's say between 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. in that typical afternoon storm time frame, well, it's 70 to 90% or greater when you get into western New England and into parts of northern New England as well. But for the remainder of at least central and southern New England, Boston area, it's a less than 30% chance of an afternoon shower or storm after whatever we get at late morning. The 7 days shows another chance for storms tomorrow and then drier for the end of the week. We'll extend this out to 10 coming up in just a few minutes. Let's get it over to Scott Montmany and see what's happening now on our roadways. Scott, you've had a couple of incidents you've been dealing with already this morning.
Yeah, a little too busy for the early bird commute, Matt. That's supposed to be the time when no problems block your progress on the roads, but not so this morning. First of all, 95, this southbound incident in the area of 140 causing a bit of a delay as folks try to head toward Mansfield across 495. The northbound side is actually okay right up to 128. Take you out west for a moment, 290 east, this truck rollover on the ramp 495 north in Marlboro, causing quite a bottleneck with that ramp closed and folks sitting there with nowhere to go. Meanwhile, Mass Turnpike south of there coming off 290 and 190 and taking it in toward Boston. We don't see any red there, and take a look with your own eyes at the highway heading for Boston. It's on cruise control for now. Northbound expressway commute starting to get busier now at the Dorchester Yacht Club, and southbound 93 seeing some pockets around 495, 133, and crossing the Cloverleaf at 128 as well. That is your Metro traffic report. I'm Scott Montmany, NECN.
And this morning, the cleanup continues after severe storms caused serious damage across New England. This is video from Newton, Massachusetts, as lightning and dark clouds rolled in.
And in Winchester, the strong winds brought down trees, power lines as well. This is damage on Prospect Street. And in Woburn, a close call for residents inside this apartment complex after a tree fell on the building at the intersection of Cambridge and Bedford Roads. That's where we find our Leslie Gato. She is live this morning with the latest. Leslie?
And there is quite a cleanup ahead here at the Glenbrook Estates apartment building here on Bedford Road in Woburn. Take a look at that. This is what happened late yesterday afternoon when this severe weather moved through town. They did put some people up from the apartment building in a nearby hotel last night. It doesn't look like the building has been compromised, but of course they won't know till they lift that tree off of the building later today. And from what I understand, this is not going to work with a bucket truck. They're going to need a crane to hoist the tree off of the building and then try to bring it down in parts. There are at least 2 trees that fell here last night. Looks like one of them was very large and kind of split into several sections here. And again, several tree removal crews are on site this morning, and they do have their work cut out for them.
It looks pretty bad as of right now. You know, I just got into the town first thing this morning. As soon as I got in here, I was like, trees down everywhere. A pretty bad area. Probably just this specific area right here is probably like a half day's worth of work, getting it off the building. But then there's probably another 2 or 3 days of miscellaneous work, just cleaning up down trees on the ground and in the parking lots and stuff like that.
So they expect to be in town for a couple of days. They're working with the association of the apartment building to try to figure out exactly how they will tackle this. But again, it looks like they're going to have to bring a crane in here to pull the tree off of the roof and assess the damage to the building. Luckily, no one was injured here. But boy, it sure makes you think about those storm warnings and listening to them and getting inside when you see the power of what happened here last night. In Woburn, Massachusetts, Leslie Gatiss, NECN.
And the powerful storm brought along some dicey moments at a local golf course in Concord, Massachusetts. A huge tree was down on the 18th hole of the Concord Country Club, and there you see it. The country club says immediately alerted people to seek shelter as the storm rolled in. A part of the awning from the clubhouse also ripped off. It was a similar situation in nearby Lexington. One resident says she was on the back deck of her Percy Road home with her son when the weather suddenly changed.
The umbrella on the table started to lift up, and I started screaming. The wind was taking the trees and just whipping them back and forth and suddenly snapping them, and just down they went.
She describes it sounds so frightening. Luckily, there have been no reported injuries from the storm.
And take a look at the hail that was left behind in Lunenburg, Massachusetts. Ashley sent us this photo to our See It, Share It email.
And Kyle O'Brien captured this scene in Devens, Massachusetts, looking very gloomy there around the time the area was under a tornado warning.
And here's the damage along Middlesex Bike Path in Arlington, Massachusetts. This sent to us by Mark Waxler. And remember, if you see it, share it. Send us your photos and video to shareit@necn.com. You may see your pictures or video on the air.
Developing overnight, a police officer is recovering after an accident in a construction zone late last night. This is video as the ambulance carrying the officer arrived in Providence. We're told the victim was working a detail in a construction zone along Interstate 495 South on the Raynham-Taunton line when the cruiser was rear-ended. The officer suffered minor injuries.
Could be a very big day for former Patriot Aaron Hernandez, the Patriots player, after a judge rules that Hernandez will be able to transfer to a jail closer to his lawyers. Our Justin Michaels live in Dartmouth with the details. Morning, Justin.
Hey, good morning to you, Brian. And right now, we don't have a word on when that's going to happen or where Hernandez will actually be going. I do have some emails and phone calls out to people here at the House of Corrections trying to get to the bottom of that. But we do know the judge did grant that request by the defense. The judge granted that request basically for the attorneys. They want to be closer to their client, have easier access to him. Hernandez is charged with the 2013 murder of Odin Lloyd in North Attleboro, Massachusetts, as well as the 2012 drive-by shooting in Boston's South End, where 2 men were killed. Hernandez's defense asked for GPS-enabled devices seized from the North Attleboro home, like iPads and also iPhones, to be suppressed as evidence because they allege a Massachusetts state trooper did not have proper paperwork to enter the Hernandez home. The judge ordered Boston media, including NECN, to turn over all raw and unedited video of troopers at the home to determine whether a search warrant was actually issued. Now, the date of Hernandez's trial in the murder of Odin Lloyd, which was actually tentatively scheduled for this coming October 6th to be exact, that could actually be changed to January. That decision is going to be made over the course of the next week. The judge said it has to be made by this coming Monday. Now, the judge's idea for that is basically because October, it's coming quickly. They want to make sure the defense and prosecution are ready. But, of course, they also want to get through the holidays. So January is the date they're thinking of right now. We'll stay on top of details. As soon as I hear back from people here at the jail, I'll let you know if we can find out when and where Hernandez is going. From North Dartmouth, Massachusetts, I'm Justin Michaels, NECN.
Right now, police are continuing to look into what caused a deadly hazmat situation at a school in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Our Bridget Blythe is live in the newsroom with more. Bridget?
At this point, Christy, officials don't believe it's the result of carbon monoxide poisoning, but 1 person is dead, 11 more recovering after the situation at Manomet Elementary School, which is where the body of 53-year-old Chester Flattery was found. He is the custodian at that school. Now, during the investigation, several people started to suffer from headaches. Firefighters, police officers, state troopers, paramedics, and an additional school employee all had to be taken to the hospital.
The building was evacuated of all school and public safety personnel, and the state hazardous materials team from the Office of the State Fire Marshal's Office was notified and responded to the scene to assist. Presently, the building remains closed as the hazardous material team attempts to identify the chemical agent.
When we find out what the cause was, we'll pass it on to you. As for all the people who were taken to the hospital, they have been released and are set to be in good health, Brian.
Thanks, Bridget. This morning, testimony in the trial of one of the friends of the Boston Marathon bombing suspect, Jahar Tsarnaev, will continue. Opening statements in the trial of Azmat Tazayakov began yesterday. He's accused of removing evidence from Tsarnaev's dorm room at UMass Dartmouth. Prosecutors say Tsarnaev told Tazayakov that he knew how to make a bomb and that it's good to be a martyr, and that Tsarnaev texted Tazayakov 90 minutes after the bombing saying, quote, "Don't go thinking it's me." But the defense maintained Tazayakov never tried to help Tsarnaev and that their friendship doesn't make him guilty.
And at the day of the trial, it will be clear that my son is not guilty of any crime and he done nothing wrong to the people of Boston.
Tazayakov has pled not guilty to obstruction of justice and conspiracy charges.
New this morning, a compromise may have been reached in the ongoing casino discussions between Boston and Mohegan Sun. According to the Boston Globe, Mayor Marty Walsh has reached a deal with Mohegan to pay the city to offset the effects of its Revere casino proposals at Suffolk Downs. The paper reports that the deal will not give East Boston residents the right to vote on the project.
It looks like a Massachusetts senator could have some major backing in a bid for the White House. According to an article in the New York Post, President Barack Obama says he would back Senator Elizabeth Warren if she ran for the 2016 Democratic nomination. The article claims that the president is worried that Hillary Clinton could undo and undermine many of his policies. Of course, we've asked Warren about presidential aspirations on several occasions, and every time she has said she is not running.
And we have breaking news out of South Africa. The defense has rested its case in the murder trial of Olympic runner Oscar Pistorius. The Olympic runner is on trial for the Valentine's Day killing of his girlfriend Reva Steenkamp. Final arguments are set for next month. 6:11 now, just ahead, Porn Patrol. Police canines are taking on a new task across New England.
And quarry tragedy. Family members remember the Providence teenager killed while swimming with friends.
Roller coaster chaos. Frightening moments after a ride at a Six Flags derails.
The radar is quiet in New England right now. You can see nothing showing up, but temperatures are already up near 70. We'll be back up around 90 later today, and that does mean some isolated severe weather is possible in the areas in blue. Scattered severe storms coming out of New York State. The majority of the storms focus in northern and western New England. Details on that, the hour-by-hour forecast, and of course the exclusive NECN 10-day, all coming up.
Traffic is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever.
Diamonds, the jewelry exchange, has half-carat solitaires for $4.99, 1-carat $9.90, 2-carat solitaires for $19.90, and 1-carat studs are $5.99. We have most sizes and grades of GIA diamonds, guaranteed the lowest price. Buy direct, the jewelry exchange in Sudbury.
Red, white, and blue pancakes are under $5. That's about as American as it gets.
What do you mean?
Blueberry pancakes, strawberries, and cream cheese icing starting at just $4.99. Apple pie, watch out.
Welcome to Denny's.
Yeah. I called around for auto insurance quotes, and it seems like they're all the same.
If you want a company that feels different the very first time you call, then try Amica.
There has to be something better.
Our whole company is dedicated to great customer service and helping you save money. For example, you can save up to 25% when you insure more than one car with Amica.
Hey, why don't you call Amica? That's a great company.
Yes, listen to that guy. Bicycle guy.
Well, who haven't we tried yet?
Amica.
Call Amica now for your free, no obligation quote.
Choosing Basic Talk for low-cost home phone service could save you up to $70 up front versus the other guy. Plus, it's free to keep your number. But if you don't believe me, listen to this reliable news anchor.
It's been confirmed. Choosing Basic Talk for low-cost home phone service could save you up to $70 up front versus the other guy. Plus, it's free to keep your number. Back to you, Tim.
Basic Talk. Call, click, or go to Walmart today.
Hi, honey. How's the camping trip?
Well, kids had fun, but I think I slept on a rock. What are you doing?
Having coffee.
Sounds good.
I thought you'd say that.
The best part of waking up.
Wake up to the mountain-grown aroma of Folgers.
Folgers in your cup.
This summer.
This is our secret weapon. I know what it's capable of.
Who's gonna drive it?
I am.
It's getting away.
We'll see about that.
Never underestimate a man in a Ford truck.
Now, during the Ford Summer Spectacular sales event, get an F-150 with up to $6,500 total savings. That's up to $6,500 total savings.
Weather is brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. Ford, go further.
6:15 now. I was asking Matt about something he said at the Motor Speedway
yesterday.
Yeah.
Boogity, boogity, boogity.
Is that really they do that?
Sure, yeah. If you watch NASCAR, absolutely. That's one of the announcers. That's what he always likes to say when you get things underway. And then they also do this thing where they crank it up, and you can actually hear the engines roar by as they come on by. Now, of course, a lot of folks I talk to say it's just one left turn after another left turn after another left turn. Right. But at the same time, as you found out if you were watching yesterday, there's a lot of science and a lot of detail that goes into that with the cars, with the track. It's rather astounding. So we're leading up to the big race Sunday. We'll see how that turns out. We had big storms yesterday. Are we going to do it again today? Not for many. Let's take a look together and show you what's happening. First of all, begin with the coastal marine forecast. We always try and give that to you at this time past the hour throughout the morning up through 10 o'clock. And you can see 2 to 4 foot seas, a mid-morning high tide, and small craft advisories in the areas that are shaded in green. Some restrictions to visibility, not all that bad. A little bit of light fog, depending on where you are at the coastline. Around New England today, here's how it's going to go. Starts out quiet, 70s. We end up 90 as we get into the afternoon. Now, here's the thing, though. At lunchtime, there will be isolated showers or even maybe a downpour around anywhere in southern or northern New England. But by the time we get to the evening, thunder for some, but I think it'll be consolidated to northern and western portions of the viewing area. So if you take a look with me here, if you look at the chance of rain between 2 p.m. and 8 p.m., look, there may be some showers prior to that anywhere in southern New England, particularly the interior. But by the time we get along 2 to 8 p.m., you're talking about a 90 or 70% chance we get into western New England. And then once you hit the Merrimack Valley, get inside 495, you drop to less than 30% chance of afternoon thunder. So if you're worried about a repeat of yesterday, it does not seem to be very likely, at least judging by the statistics here as we get on to the late day. Now, again, right now the radar is quiet. It may start to heat up with some bubbling up showers here later in the morning, but that should subside for a lot of southern New England areas. 70 in Hartford right now, running in the 70s in Boston, running about 65 to 70 across the north to begin the day. See, what we had yesterday is an energetic trigger, we call it. It's a trigger in the atmosphere that actually gets those thunderstorms going. That's what you need. You could have the hottest, most humid day, but if you don't have a good trigger, you don't get big storms. Today's trigger is pretty weak. It's a weak disturbance coming across New York State that we'll get here as we get throughout the day. But again, notice what happens. Now, in the next few hours, you're quiet. By late morning, here's about noontime, let's say lunchtime, a couple of showers are bubbling up central Mass, maybe coming out of central Connecticut into western Mass, Merrimack Valley, even the Boston area, 495 to 95. Could get a shower coming through right at lunch hour here and there. But what happens during the afternoon as these start to gain some intensity is they start shifting north, mostly from Manchester northward during the late afternoon, so that southern New England actually gets quieter, and that's why your chance of rain from 2 to 8 p.m. drops so significantly. Notice that as we get to the night tonight, storms kick out of New York State. They'll come into western New England first, then they'll weaken as they move east. A shower is possible overnight for the rest of us. And tomorrow morning should start quiet on our way to a day of scattered storms again. As for the severe weather threat today, the greatest threat is out across New York State and then perhaps bleeding into Vermont, but that would be those evening line that comes in during the late evening. For the rest of us, it's just an isolated severe storm possible, the majority of the focus being north and west, and the best chance of finding some embedded severe weather would be, let's say, southern Vermont, southern and central New Hampshire as we get into the afternoon hours. Other than that, Boston area, we should not have a repeat of what we saw yesterday. Temperatures running about 90 to 93 or so. It is going to be hot, so the feeling is a repeat. There's no question about that. The heat, the humidity, we do that for everybody. But the storm focus certainly turns out to be different. At least that's the way it looks now. Heading into the overnight tonight, another mild night, another muggy night. You'll be right around 70 degrees or so. And the extended forecast brings us to temperatures that will continue to be near 90 tomorrow. Humidity still with us. The chance for scattered showers and thunder goes up in southern New England tomorrow. Getting into Thursday, we're drying out. Friday, Saturday look good. Sunday, a chance of afternoon storms. And then heading into next week, we'll hang in the 80s with a chance of afternoon thunder Monday and Tuesday on the 10-day. Let's kick it over to Scott Montmany, see what's going on the roadways now. Scott, you said it's been kind of unusually busy for so early, I guess especially considering low volume, right?
Yeah, the early bird commute was followed by a couple of crashes that are now spilling over into, well, morning rush hour. It really begins in earnest right about now, and as Matt points out, volume starts to pick up, which means backups like these get longer each time we chat. The problem here is 290 northbound, rolled over tractor trailer right at the ramp to 495 north, shuts that ramp. Now, the traffic that we referenced earlier is standing still because they had nowhere to go, has been backed off of that ramp, so That's the good news. They've freed up some folks and allowed them to move off the 85 connector as an alternative. But the backup goes from 25 to 85, so essentially from Solomon Pond, you're going to be sitting in some brake lights. South of town, another incident, 95 southbound crash by 140. Doesn't seem to be putting as much dent in traffic. Cars off the road and into a tree. There's some curiosity going by, but 95 northbound actually looks pretty clear heading for the top. Here we see the expressway coming to its familiar snail's pace from the split to Granite Ave and up to the Dorchester Yacht Club. From the north, 93 south building in pockets through Andover and across 128 as well. That is your Metro traffic report. I'm Scott Montmany, NECN.
Dive teams have recovered the body of a Providence teenager killed after diving into a quarry in Milford, Massachusetts. Nenter Don's body was found yesterday morning in about 60 feet of water. Witnesses say Don jumped from a ledge Sunday afternoon, landed in the water awkwardly, and did not resurface. The 18-year-old had just graduated from high school and was planning to attend college in the fall.
All the teachers, everybody love him, and he's a very good, respectful, and I love him.
You know, taking care of his brothers, you know, bring the kids over, he would take them upstairs, play with them like he wanted them.
Accident is such a shame. The Milford police chief is calling the teen's death accidental. And the search continues for a woman who vanished while tubing on the Deerfield River in Conway, Massachusetts. 6 or 7 people were tubing near a dam over the weekend when a woman was drawn into a vortex and then fell off her tube.
At least 4 people are recovering after a roller coaster in California hits a tree branch and derails. It happened last night at Six Flags Magic Mountain right outside of L.A. 22 people got stuck on the Ninja ride for about 3 hours.
Suspect in the 2012 Benghazi terror attack will face a judge today for a court status conference in Washington. Ahmed Abu Hatala is a suspected ringleader of the attack that killed 4 Americans, including Ambassador Chris Stevens. He's pleaded not guilty to several charges.
Checking this morning's Money Clip headlines, a cupcake empire crumbles and GM is reportedly fighting back against another potential big recall. Let's begin, though, with Walmart. The CEO, Bill Simon, saying that the recovery in the U.S. job market is not spurring consumer spending. He says the retail giant's low and middle income shoppers appear to have changed their shopping habits that are not the best thing, and this is not the best thing in the world for a retailer. That's according to the CEO. He says people are splurging on events like back to school and July 4th, but pulling back on spending in between. At least 1 in 5 of Walmart's customers rely on government assistance to buy groceries and other goods. For other headlines, including that GM recall, let's go to CNBC's Bertha Coombs. Morning, Bertha.
Good morning. Yeah, GM is reportedly resisting yet another recall. This time, nearly 1.8 million older pickup trucks and SUVs that have a brake line issue, apparently. The New York Times says safety regulators have been investigating the matter since 2010, and they've received about 1,000 complaints on the issue so far. It affects the Chevy Tahoe, Suburban, and Cadillac Escalade, and it's about rusted brake lines. Now, GM says these are a routine maintenance issue, not something that they need to issue a recall for. But interestingly, Subaru recently did issue a recall over the issue out of an abundance of caution. So I wonder how long they can put up this excuse for not recalling cars.
Well, and the last thing GM wants is another recall. We can all understand that.
Right. It's costly to bring them in. They'd rather have the car owners pick up the tab instead.
Right, and another PR hit. They don't need that. So every time a bakery closes its doors, I cry a little bit, and 48 of them are going under now.
Yeah, you cry, but maybe your hips will thank you. I don't know about you, but I was wondering, do we need this many cupcake shops? Crumbs apparently realizes we don't. It is closing its doors. The cupcake maker shutting 65 of its stores. They've been operating in 12 states and Washington, D.C. They had 8 in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. Now, a week ago, the company was delisted from the NASDAQ. It went public back in 2011 at the height of the gourmet cupcake boom, or you might call it the cupcake bubble, I guess. But it's reported several years of losses now, and it seems as though people are over the cupcakes, and they can get them anywhere now.
Who gets over? I never get over cupcakes. Bertha Coombs at CNBC. Thanks for joining us.
See you later.
24 minutes after 6 o'clock. Next on NECN, down and out. The Sox hoping to bring home a win after another tough loss.
Celtics sidelined one of the C's top picks, forced to sit out the entire summer league after a strange injury.
Money Clip on NECN is brought to you by FindMassMoney.com.
You know that feeling you have when you find extra money in your pocket? Well, the state of Massachusetts has about $2 billion in unclaimed money, stocks, and insurance payouts waiting for you to claim. Imagine that feeling. Go to FindMassMoney.com today. It's fast, easy, and free.
Whoa, what have we here?
Iced coffee from Cumberland Farms.
Thanks, honey. Now let's do this, guys.
It's too good to put down. Farmhouse Blend iced coffee from Cumberland Farms. Just 99 cents, any size.
For a brilliant smile, there's a breakthrough in whitening. From Crest 3D White, new Brilliance Toothpaste and Boost. After brushing, our exclusive Boost polishes your smile and whitens with 3 times the stain-lifting ingredient for a smile that dazzles. New Crest 3D White Brilliance.
Once there was a girl who never settled for ordinary. Even in her laundry room, with Downy Unstoppables, she matched her one-of-a-kind style with one-of-a-kind scents. Downy Unstoppables in-wash scent boosters. Wash in the wow.
The Cadillac Summer Collection is here.
Why did you say no to me? Dreaming of cruise or maybe talk crazy, but I wanted.
During the Cadillac Summer's Best event, lease this 2014 SRX for around $329 a month or purchase with 0% APR. Visit newenglandcadillac.com for exceptional offers.
Canopy Lake Park in Salem, New Hampshire gives you more. More family fun. More splash. More untamed. More live entertainment. Bring your family to Canopy. It's just more fun.
Pack your bags and plan your summer adventures with meteorologist Matt Noyes. Join Matt every Monday morning as he treks across New England to show you the best New England getaways. From wet and wild adventures to breathtaking views, Matt is your guide to the best of New England. Day trips with Matt, Monday mornings only on NECN.
A local mentoring program helping teens navigate their future.
90% of them graduate, 70% of them go on to college.
Maisie Mentoring, tonight at 9.
Somebody grab a bucket and start bailing. The Red Sox ship is sinking fast. After a mediocre road trip, they've got a disastrous homestand on their hands. Lost 6 of 7 so far. Last night, they opened up a 4-game set with the White Sox. The game started late because of the weather, and the White Sox beat the Red Sox 4-0. They will play again tonight. First pitch around 7:10. Celtics played their second summer league game of the season yesterday. Number 6 overall pick Marcus Smart. A tough outing on the floor, shooting just 3 of 15 as the C's get blown out by the Pacers. Number 17 overall pick James Young has been ruled out of summer league action due to a neck injury that he suffered in a car crash before the draft.
A lifetime in silence, one little girl is getting a rare and amazing gift.
Plus, surveying the damage severe weather causing problems across New England, and this morning the cleanup gets underway.
And there will be some scattered showers and thunder around in parts of New England today. We'll outline who gets what coming up. If you're traveling, you'll find more thunderstorms out by Buffalo and Pittsburgh, and then across the remainder of the country, cool north and warm when you come south. We'll have more details on the forecast for you coming up in just a couple of minutes.